Once again, show the shirts off the cuff. That's right, folks. It is Joe the Shirt once again back with you on Off the Cuff, which is what I do. Today's opening crappy music was by a band known as Lush Logic and their song Molly's Groove. Now, I use the term crappy music for everybody's music that I play here. It's not necessarily that I think that Lush Logic is particularly crappy, but that's just what I do, because what I do is I pick songs pretty much at random, throw them in there, and hopefully something works, or it doesn't. But you know what? It's provided for free, so we all get to enjoy it, or think to yourself, wow, that was really shitty. Now today's topic, as you know, is remember, chefs, it's food, not love. And before I get into that, I just want to a little shed right here. As you know, as many of you know, I'm not a big fan of the homeless, and any homeless person that's ever asked me for money knows that they're not a big fan of me either. My recent encounter with a homeless guy that came up to me and wants to know if he could borrow 50 cents while he was texting on his cell phone. I said it a couple weeks ago, and I'm saying it again today. You know what? If you're here begging me for money, you should have the decency to put away your cell phone and look me in the eye. I mean, what are you doing? Texting somebody else for money? What the fuck, man? But another homeless incident happened to me just this morning. I was over at the 99-cent store, which is where I do all my, fine Christmas and holiday shopping. And as I'm leaving, there's a homeless guy. There's always like 3 or 4 of them hanging around there. Homeless guy walks up to me and he wants to know if I can give him some change, and I'm like, I'm shopping at the 99-cent store, okay? I mean, does that not resonate with you at all, okay? I'm grocery shopping for my food at the 99-cent store, okay? I am here because I'm hoping that somewhere there's, I don't know, a farm or a warehouse that had an overage on eggs, so I can buy a dozen of them for 99 fucking cents. No, but you see me here and you figure, yeah, this guy's got his shit together. I'm going to ask him for money. Maybe it's my sweet ride, because nothing says, this guy's flush with cash and sitting pretty than a 2004 Ford Focus. It just takes me off. The homeless kind of tend to take me off. Any case, but we are talking about food. We are talking about chefs, who are among some of my favorite people in the world, and because they are psychotic, is what chefs are. I know a lot of you are thinking, it's like, no, chefs, of course not. That'd be crazy. And I'm like, yeah, it's not crazy. Chefs are psychotic. And I have proof of this, actually. I had a recent study of the most psychopathic professions in the United States. Chef ranked in the top 10, actually ranked number 9. Chefs are the number 9 most psychopathic professionals in the United States, beating out civil servants. So people who are hired to help you and to make your food for you are psychopaths. After chef, clergy, no shock there. After clergy, police officer, no surprise there. Followed up by journalist, surgeon, salesperson, media, lawyer, and the number 1 most psychopathic people in the United States as far as professions goes, CEOs. But again, none of those are really all that shocking. And you would not think that chef was shocking if you knew enough chefs, okay? They're nuts, okay? Yeah, I've met quite a few chefs in my time, and these people, well, are not bad people. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to insinuate that chefs are bad people. I've known quite a few chefs who, for the most part, nice people, good people, funny people, a little edgy, a little high-strung. And I mean, no, I'm serious about that. Until you've known enough chefs, I mean, I think part of the problem is that I think too many people still, when they think of the word chef, they think of some big fat French fuck. You know, no, that's not what chefs are anymore. Okay, do yourself a favor, put on the Food Network channel or whatever, something like that, and watch some of these shows. We're talking about ex-gangbangers. We're talking about lesbians, nothing wrong with that. We're talking about ex-homeless, alcoholics, ex-drug addicts, people who have done prison time. The average chef that I know these days has more tattoos than your average Hell's Angel, okay? They are not really stable people, you know, but they're very passionate people. Now, just before I go more into chefs, on the other side of least psychotic, least psychopathic people, professions out there, number 10, accountant. Number 9, doctor, which is really fun because surgeon is considered psychotic, but doctor is among the least psychotic. Number 8, creative artist, followed by teacher, charity worker, beautician or stylist, craftsperson, a therapist. So all those Hannibal Lecter stories are really unlikely. Nurse and care aide. So typically speaking, people who do not work for the government but work to help others tend to be among the least psychotic. I don't know. Anyway, back to chefs. Now, like I said, I've known a few chefs. And when I say ex-gangbangers, drug dealers, drug addicts, alcoholics, sex addicts, I'm not exaggerating here. Some chefs I've known, I'm not going to name names because that would be rude. One of the reasons I'm actually doing this particular show is because I've recently made a lot of new friends on Facebook, and a lot of them, it turns out, happens to be chefs. Through a couple of other chefs that I know. Again, I'm not going to name names because I'm going to be saying shit. But they are nuts. I remember one chef, for the most part, a really nice guy, sweetheart of a human being, great chef. I enjoyed his food a great deal. But one day, I'm in the kitchen where we used to work. I used to work as a bartender, and he's screaming at one of his cooks. He's yelling, he's screaming at him. He's just like, what the fuck is your problem? Are you eyeballing me? Are you fucking eyeballing me? I don't think so. Hey, what the fuck is your problem? I will beat your ass to death. I will kick your fucking ass. All right? You want me to be like this? Want me to say yelling all the time? That's what I'm gonna fucking do. All right? And I was like, you know, later on I was talking to him. He was a little on the calmer side. I was like, dude, you know, threatening your staff with physical violence is probably not the way to go. He's like, yeah, Joe, I know. It's I gotta not do stuff like that. I'm like, dude, you're usually really kind of mellow. You know, you got a wife, you got kids. And he's like, yeah, I know, but God, it just pisses me off so much. And I'm like, yeah, but that's what, you know, people go to jail for shit like that. And I don't know. Another chef that I worked with, he was my absolute fave, and if he ever listens to the show, he knows exactly who I'm talking about. This man was, without a doubt, my Friday and Saturday night entertainment. I loved it because my bar was a service bar that I used to work at, and the kitchen was right behind me. And sometime around 10:15 at night, he would completely lose his shit. I mean, I'm sorry, he would lose it either with his own staff or with the waiting staff or with the host staff. I mean, he would lose his shit sooner or later, Friday, Saturday night. It was gonna happen. And I would let him know that I look forward to it every fucking night. When he would lose his shit, I was looking for it so much. because you'd be screaming and yelling and cursing and throwing shit, you know, and he would just say like the most horrible, evil things. And like one time I remember him, he's screaming, he's like, "Where's Amber? Where the fuck is Amber? Where the fuck is, you told that stupid fucking cunt to get in here!" And I was like, dude, that's what people get arrested and sued for. He was like, "Fuck it, I don't give a shit." And all chefs love to claim the kitchen. At the very least, they claim the kitchen. It's like, "It's my fucking kitchen. It's my way. Get the fuck out." That's the way it is. Okay? You do not walk into any chef's kitchen and assume anything, you know, that you're allegedly allowed to do. You know, I once got chewed out by a chef because I come in on my day off, and I was making margaritas at my house, and I realized I didn't have any basil. I wanted to make basil margaritas, so I came in there. I just grabbed like a handful of basil leaves. That's it. That's all I got. Next day, he's giving me shit about it. He's like, "Dude, I know you've been here a long time, you know, I don't know what other chefs did when you were here, man. When you're here, man, you come in, you want anything, you gotta ask me, you gotta ask the sous chef, or that, man. You can't just like come in here and take shit." And I'm like, "It's just basil, just a little basil." He's like, "Yeah, it's still stealing, comes at my cost." And I was like, "Okay, you got it. I won't do it again, I promise." And what was hysterical to me was like a few weeks later, he and I were both drinking on the job. And he's like, "Yo, I don't even know what I was talking about. From now on, you can have all the fucking basil you want. You know, just go ahead and take. You know what? I'm going to bring in a basil plant just for you, Joe, because that's bullshit. I don't even know what the hell I was talking about." These guys are truly, they're up and they're down, man. They are the definition of bipolar, you know. And I'm not saying that any of these guys are bad guys. I said, really, for the most part, very nice people. You know, they have wives and children of their own, and they, for the most part, very normal guys outside of work. But you get them in there, and it's the hurt locker all of a sudden, you know? It's like you don't know what's going to happen at any point in time. And I think a lot of that really is because, you know, their kitchen is their domain. Food is their art, as they like to think of it. And I don't blame them for that. And they're very passionate about it. And, you know, whatever food goes out into the table is a representation of themselves, okay? So anytime that a plate of food gets to the table and it's cold because, say, the server was late picking it up and taking it out, you know what? Nobody is blaming the server, you know, at least not in the chef's mind. In the chef's mind, you know, they're blaming him. Even if he got the food ready on time, it was ready, it was perfect, it was set to go, but the server was not, they take it very personally. And they take it very angrily. You know, chefs, much like stand-up comedians, surprisingly enough, not really nice people when they're working. Okay? Creative, thoughtful, like I said, passionate. But I sometimes think they lose sight of the fact that we really are just talking about food, not love. Now, far be it for me to tell anybody what to do with their lives or how they should take what's important in their life. You know, I'm not going to do that. But what I am saying is, if you don't believe chefs are crazy, I might have something that might convince you otherwise when we get back from the break. Okay, I am Joe the Shirt. I'm off the cuff. Today's show is Remember Chefs. It's food, not love. We'll be right back. And here is Marina B with Tonkaya Riabina.
This
Once again to Joe the Shirts Off the Cuff. That was Marina V with her song Turkaya Rabina. Very nice, actually. I like that one. It's I believe it's Russian, actually. Russian traditional song. So okay, all right on. Now we've been talking about chefs again. One of my favorite fodder for the show here. One, because I know chefs. I've met them. I've worked with them. And I've dealt with them in less than friendly terms on a couple of occasions. That being said, I do like chefs because they're form of crazy that I have to admire because they are so passionate about what they do. Like I said, they remind me of stand-up comics because stand-up comics are viciously passionate about what they do, and again, not the nicest people on the planet. Now, one of my absolute favorite chefs. I barely knew the guy when he said this to me. He says to me in front of his crew, a bunch of overworked, underpaid bastards who never took breaks. He's like, hey, you know what a bartender is? And I'm like, well, what's a bartender? He goes, a bartender is somebody that's failed in everything else they've ever tried. I'm like, motherfucker, I barely know you. To which I said, so what? As far as I'm concerned, a chef is just a glorified line cook. Oh my God. Alright, now I did a little research today on chef. I got this off a website called The Brazier. Chefs are, like I said, they are psychotic, and they have a tendency to kill people. Among the favorite targets of chefs to kill people, other chefs. Who knew? Okay, I do have a list of famous chefs that have murdered people. There's one, David Beans, and I believe it's right here in the United States, it might be in California. David Beans apparently killed his wife Dawn Beans, and then boiled her body for 4 days. Now apparently what happened was they got into a fight, he tied her up, and then duct taped her mouth. Then he went and took a nap, which is exactly what I do every time I duct tape somebody and tie them up. When he woke up, finds that she choked on her own vomit. Now, does he call the police? Does he call the paramedics? Does he try to hide the body? No. He puts her in a gigantic barrel of boiling water and slow cooked her for 4 days. Allegedly, he was grief-stricken and then threw himself off a cliff in attempted suicide. He survived and is currently in a wheelchair. And is expected to be the case expected to be judged on in the next several days, next several weeks even. Apparently he's got a girlfriend. I love how murderers always have girlfriends. Okay, we're going to move on with these, so there's a few of them. Next we have Julian Kurita, a former sushi sous chef for Credit Suisse. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Who nearly decapitated his father with a fish knife when he was visiting him. His father was a touring Japanese tap dancer who Julian claims deserved what he got because his dad had molested him. I'm like, okay, you waited all these years to finally make a move. Alright, moving on, there's an unknown chef from Moscow who, again, murdered his father, this time a father-in-law, but then he got fancy with it. He ground him up and baked him into meat pies and then served it to his customers at his cafe near the Kremlin. Now, what I love about chef murders, honestly, is that chefs feel the need to incorporate cooking into their murders, okay? They don't just shoot you, they don't just throw you off a cliff, they don't just hit you with their car. Whenever they do kill you, a lot of them try to involve cooking you. We shall go on. A British chef, Peter Wallner, murdered his wife with a cast iron griddle pan. Now that's some serious griddle pan, okay? If you know anything about griddle pans, cast iron, that shit'll kill a moose. Killed her in their bed, and then hid her body in an industrial freezer. Again, in some way involving food. But I must say that is functional. You got a freezer, right? You got a dead body, you got to put it somewhere. What makes it creepy though is that he then had sex with his mistress on the same bed that he killed his wife on. I think that's just dirty cool right there. Another British chef. That's 2 Brits already. A trend, you think, maybe? Anthony Morley. He was a former Mr. Gay UK. Apparently repeatedly stabbed a man to death after having sex with him, cut out a couple of pieces of flesh from his thigh, and then marinated them with herbs and cooked and ate it. According to him, though, it didn't taste all that good. Again, they were involving food. Moving on, we have a 21-year-old Russian chef from Murmansk. Again, with the Russians, they don't include the names. I'm not sure why. But he wanted to know what human flesh tastes like. Now, according to most cannibal repertoires I've heard of, human flesh tastes like pork. All right. According to this, he met a man on a gay dating site. A lot of chefs and gays, apparently, and daddy issues. I'm not saying that has anything to do with anything, and nothing wrong with being gay. There's nothing wrong with hating your father. There's just something wrong with killing and cooking and eating him. Let's see. Let's see what this guy here. He also wants to know. He wants to know human flesh tastes like, right? Met a man on a gay dating site, and then afterwards, killed him, and then ground him into meatballs and sausage. What makes this unique amongst these murders is that he actually posted videos on the internet of him butchering and converting the meat into sausage and meatballs. But see, what's a little creepier though is the fact that he had planned on killing at least 10 more people and doing the same thing with them. And finally, we have John Hughes, John Hose. How to read this? Let's see. Okay, this time didn't involve any type of cannibalism or cooking, but he did stab his wife with 2 knives and bludgeoned her to death with a baseball bat. The reason he was caught was because he was trying to pawn off her wedding ring. But as you can see, chefs are psychotic. Chefs have serious issues, man. I've recently, like I said, made friends with quite a few chefs online through other chef friends of mine, and I thank you all for joining me on Facebook. And if you're listening to the show, thank you for listening. And if you're offended by the show, I don't know what to tell you. This is pretty much what I kind of do, but please bear in mind, I do this with nothing but love and a slight amount of derision. As I said, chefs are, they're nutty. There's no other way to put it. They rank number 9 in the most psychotic professions in the United States. And I think a lot of it really has to do with the amount of pressure that they themselves put themselves under. A chef a true chef is a very, very driven person. Tends to have, maybe not tends to have, but tends to develop a very strong personality because they have to. Being a cook is not for the faint of heart. Being a chef is not for the faint of heart. I've worked in kitchens, I've worked in bars where there was a kitchen nearby. I don't work in kitchens. Where I have seen, line cooks bleeding, gushing. I've seen second and third degree burns where, gigantic pus globules are forming on people's arms and legs. And not only do they not stop working, but they will do whatever it takes to patch themselves up and keep on working. I've seen them, you get a big ass cut on your hands or your arm, get some crazy glue. That's what they do. They put crazy glue on the cuts, on their hands and on their arms, and just seal it up and just keep working. I've seen them, put duct tape on their fingertips after cutting themselves. I've seen, like I said, a gelatinous mass of water bubbles in a burnt arm, where I was like, maybe you should go to the emergency room. And she'd be like, no, I'm okay. And I'm like, you're okay? I've seen line cooks who are allergic to shellfish and seafood cutting up seafood and shellfish. I was like, what is wrong with you? Now really, if you really want to have a better idea of what chefs are like, watch Food Network, Chopped, Iron Chef, The Next Iron Chef, The Taste, any one of these shows. Watch any one of these and you will see what these people go through. And they're insane. They truly are. And this is a little aside, actually, real quick here. I watch these shows only because my girlfriend likes watching them. She loves cooking shows, so I'll occasionally watch them with them. This is just my opinion, and that's what I'm going with. But if you're a vegan or a vegetarian, don't come on these shows. You come on Chopped, and you're a vegan or a vegetarian, don't come on these shows. Because what's going to happen is, on Chopped, sooner or later, they're going to put meat somewhere in there, okay? Also, if you're a kosher chef, don't come on these shows. If you're kosher, vegan, or vegetarian, do not come on Chopped, okay? Because sooner or later, they're going to give you meat and or shellfish, all right? And you're going to cook these dishes, and you're going to present it to the judges, and the judges are going to taste it, and the first thing every one of these fucking bastards always ask you is, did you taste this? Did you taste this? Did you taste this? Did you taste the pork? Did you taste the steak? Did you taste the lobster? Did you taste it? Did you taste it? And they'll be going, no, I did not taste it. I didn't taste it because I'm a vegetarian or a vegan or I'm kosher and it's against my this and the other thing. And they look at these chefs with so much disgust and hatred and disappointment. It's just like, how do you call yourself a chef and not incorporate meat and dairy and fish and shellfish into your food? And you know what, that's fine. I'll give them that. If it's your restaurant and you don't want to cook with meat, you don't want to cook with dairy, you don't want to cook with shellfish, you don't want to cook with eggs, that's on you. I'm never going to your fucking restaurant ever. But if you're going to be on one of these shows, you got to be ready to bring it. And there's no way to bring it without knowing what your fucking food fucking tastes like. That's my opinion. I could be wrong. Thank you, Dennis Miller. But I think, just about any chef would agree on that one, I think. It's like, if you don't know what the fucking food tastes like that you made, that you're putting out there, that you're serving, then why are you serving it? Anyway, that's it. That's my time for today. I thank you all for listening. Please spread the word. Let people know I'm out here, and I'm happy to talk about anything. If you have any show ideas, please write on my Facebook page. Let me know. Make a comment what we thought about this show. Thank you for listening. We're going out today with the last bit of music. It's called Not Giving In by Mustard Plug. I'm Joe the Shirt, and I'm off the cuff. Thanks a lot, guys.